having my morning cup of coffee in my Boss Rooster cup right there, designed by my good friend Alan. White sand. What is that? I mean, I always mess up his handle. It should be easy. It should be easy for me. Uh, but he designed that. He actually designed the logo too for Dazzle TV. Happy Saturday morning. Hey, happy Saturday morning, Derek. We finally got some rain here in Numancia, Aklan yesterday. We were gonna go to the Esplanade again. We were gonna take Mom and Leanna and Kalel, but speaking of Kalel, let me look around here because he's sleeping underneath the couch, so that's a good thing. He always says I have to keep an eye on Kalel. We were gonna take them all to the Esplanade, but when I picked up Leanna from school, it started downpouring yesterday. This morning, no rain. I was able to do my morning walk this morning. Actually took a shower already. The sun is up, but some clouds, so we might end up getting some rain today. And the forecast says here for Numancia, cloudy, couple of morning showers followed by a little rain in the afternoon. We've been getting rain here in the afternoon. Unlike in Luzon though, I know there's been flooding in the Luzon area. My friend Joseph, he lives in Zambales, and he sent me like photos of a river there, and they're afraid that one bridge already collapsed, and another bridge in this area in San Marcelino in Zambales. So prayers go out to those people, of course. Also, I wanted to, I had sad news that I got a couple of days ago. A friend of our channel, his name is Jack. Jack came here to the Philippines 2022. He landed in Iloilo. He was like contacting me about, he was curious about Iloilo. He was curious about Calibo and then Boracay. So he landed in Iloilo, stayed in Iloilo for like 2 weeks, and then he took a bus headed over here to Calibo. And then from there, I kind of guided him. He wanted to go to Boracay. I took him to Boracay, found him an apartment in Boracay. He stayed in Boracay for almost 6 months. He had fun in Boracay. But after 6 months, he headed to Thailand because he said he wanted to try out Thailand. I just heard, that past week that he passed away. When he came here to the Philippines, I think he was 69, so he would have been 73. They passed away. We actually were messaging each other a couple of months ago because he wanted to visit us. We got to hang out with Jack in Boracay. Our friend in Boracay introduced him to our friends in Boracay. We actually took a trip. I have videos of him. We took him to Buruanga, but he had a heart attack. He had a heart attack in Thailand. So rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace, Jack. I've been thinking about him because I even went back to our videos looking at photos. He was just a happy-go-lucky guy. He had some health issues before he came here to the Philippines, but he just wanted to, have fun. He said he wanted an adventure, and he got that. Dazzle and I was even talking about that the other night, and we were saying, well, at least he went out, in his own terms. He had an amazing time. He had 6 months here in the Philippines. He's been living in Thailand for like over 3 years. Got himself a motorbike in Thailand. He landed, I think, in the beginning in Phuket and then Hua Hin. But he toured all over Thailand. But just sad, it's like it's unfortunate when you hear news like that, but my prayers go out to his family. We're gonna miss him. We're gonna miss Jack because even Leanna remembers Jack because he was a lot of fun when we took him to Buruanga. So sad about, yes, I saw that tragedy definitely in Nepal. Prayers definitely go out to the people of Nepal. American too, right? There was Americans that were there, that part of the people that didn't survive. All right, Jim. All right, thank you for the gift there. Thank you for the gift there. I see that thing. All right. Lowell, Jim, and Millie, my back hurts, but each day. Oh, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Continue to get well. To continue to get well, Lowell, for sure. One day at a time. I was about this. Hey, Daniel. Good morning. Howdy all to the Posse brothers. All right, Daniel. Rest indefinitely. That, unfortunately, that's how it is. Because I meet a lot of people, of course, on our channel. I help people, and then it's just sad. It's sad because I connect with people when they message me, especially with Jack. It's like I remember picking him up in Calibo at the bus station, taking him to the Boracay, getting him an apartment there, getting settled. We would take trips. Dazzle and I would go hang out with him in Boracay. He became friends with our friends in Boracay, like Nene is one of our friends there, Rosalie. It's just, it's sad when you hear news like that. But like I said, he went out in the great terms. He was happy. I know he was having an amazing time in Thailand. He even, like I said, he messaged me. He was planning a trip to visit us. He was like a couple of months ago. He go, hey Gino, I'm gonna come see you guys. I'm gonna go to Boracay and all that. But at least, like I said, he went out the right way. Rest in peace. May he rest in peace for sure. Hey, good morning, Colonel, and the sports fans and everyone. Hey, Colonel, good to see you. Good to see you, Colonel. Good morning, Colonel. It's about time you brought your badong for your bad. Yeah, I haven't seen the Colonel since Thailand and that video in Singapore. May God grant for sure, Lowell. Hey, there he is, Castaway Drip. My brother from another, the Duke of Duma. Good morning, my brother. Finger heart. Okay, I was trying to figure what that is. The finger heart. Thank you so much there, Colonel. Morning, Colonel. God bless. There. That is why it's important before you come to the Philippines. Get a complete checkup before you come. Yes, and for Patrick, he had ill health issues. Like I said, even before he got here, he was 69. I remember in 2022 when he was communicating with me, he was gonna come no matter what. If he didn't come to my way, he would have. He was dead set on coming to the Philippines because. For one, he told me he was living in Colorado at the time. He couldn't afford it anymore living in Colorado. He was like, it's like he no adventure. He was basically living in his apartment and nothing happening in his life. And he wanted to experience, I guess, one last adventure, one last run, have fun again is what I remember him telling me. That's why he contacted me and he landed in Iloilo City. Good morning, Jim and Millie and Lowell. His last days were happy. I can know. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? For me, I did some reflection for myself because he was a good, he was here for like 6 months, but he became our friend. It's like we would visit him in Boracay. He actually one Christmas he spent here in Calibo, Christmas time. So I remember eating at Cafe Latte with him. He was kidding around with Liana. We were at Pastrana Park during the displays there for the holidays. He was happy. He was happy when he was here. Fresh fade. Hey, I know, man. I got my high and tight. You know me, man. I gotta have my high and tight. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing, Michael. Hey, Gino, what's you been up to? Pretty much the same, my routine, my normal routine here. I stay busy with Leanna, taking her to school, picking her up in school, and then helping Dazzle now with her YouTube channel, trying to, when she's doing live stream and videos. Staying busy, actually, I got 2 people now, Doug from Colorado, and somebody else reached out to me this morning, really interested about coming to the Philippines. So I know Doug is scheduling a video call with me so I can start guiding him coming here to the Philippines. He's coming from Colorado. And he's going to come to Calibo. He's like, he wants to check out Calibo as his soft landing. Lowell, morning, Michael, God bless. Dazzle's Champion Size Pinay. All right, it's really exploding with near. I know. I mean, she's doing really well. Thank you all for supporting Dazzle's channel. I'm home, and we will be doing final moving. Okay, all right. So the Colonel is home. Good morning, Gino fam and the Panay Posse. There he is. Fortune, my brother in Bacoor, in Cavite. Morning, Lowell. Good morning, Fortune. Good morning, Jamili, Derek. Pray for Nepal. Definitely, man. That's so tragic. Lowell, hope all good on your procedure. Good AM, Daniel and Colonel. Morning, Fortune. God bless. Good AM, Michael S. The Duca Duma. The Duca Duma. Good AM, Emilio. Fort. Good morning, November. I will be in Philippines. Receive clean. Oh, awesome! That is awesome, Ali. That clean bill of health. You know, Derek says the same thing, man. And I know Derek is doing the same thing in Hawaii right now. He's getting checkups done at Tripler Army Medical Center in Hawaii. After all that is done, he's going to come to the Philippines. But he was just here, but he's going to head back to Leyte. Very smart, very smart. That's like, and if you don't do it, if you don't run out of time and you are not able to do that in America, you can do it here as soon as you get here. You know, it's like I've helped people when they come to Calibo here. I take them to Asia Pacific Medical Center, get their lab work, X-ray, EKG. You know, at least for me, I think that's good when you arrive here. That way, even if you're not sick, you have data that gonna be your baseline. Like you can say someday, a year from now or whatever, and you got sick, you got all this lab work and stuff. Hey, you can show the doctor, hey, when I landed here, these were my stats. And now, you know, it helps. It helps the doctors here for sure. You got rains in your, yes, last night it rained, Fortune, right when I picked up Leanna, but now it's not raining. Sun is actually trying to come out again. It seemed like it starts raining here the past 2 days, right around when I pick up Leanna. Back-to-back days, around 4:30, there'll be a downpour, but it doesn't rain all night or anything like that. Until non-stop. Hey man, I know Luzon, man. The Habagat has been hitting Luzon. What is considered people with money in the Philippines? All right, I'll get to that topic. That's why I wanted to discuss that topic about people with money in the Philippines, treated better. That's the topic for today. Just my opinion, just my observation. You know, it's like I'm not a know-it-all or anything like that. Just what I have observed my 15 years here. The way I see people, they act a little different towards people with money here. Unlike in the U.S., you know, in the U.S. maybe celebrities, you know, people kind of act different around celebrities. But in the U.S., you know, a celebrity can be riding the subway and treated the same. Or you can go to a ball game in the U.S. You can go to an NBA game, sit by a celebrity, and it's not a big deal. Here in the Philippines, it just works different. You know, people just treat those people with, they can tell that when people got money here, they can tell, and they're treated different here in the Philippines. Good morning, Fortune and everyone. Hey, there's Doug right there. Doug from Colorado. Hey, man, I messaged you back about scheduling that video chat. So I'm ready whenever you are, brother. Hello, I'm looking forward to our video chat. Oh, hey, just schedule it, Doug. You know, it's like I'm here, ready to help you. God bless, my brother. Yo, hey, yo, Tim. Yo, my brother in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Derek, all right, retract it. Okay, Fortune, the golden rule. He who has the gold can make the rules. I think I've heard that, but you know, and I wanted that topic, discuss that topic because I think it's bigger here, Fortune. Like I was saying, Fortune, in the US, because everybody's got money pretty much. Everybody's got credit, everybody can afford what rich people can afford, going to the ball game, dinner out. But here, there's just a big gap because of the big gap of income here in the Philippines. The rich are rich here. We're talking, electric vehicles, electric trucks, mansions, and then the poor, they're living in shanties. So just a big gap, just a big gap. In the future, can you do a vlog about what happens when you pass away in the Philippines? Somebody had mentioned that before to me, Daniel. I know many other people have done a video like that, but it's such a downer, man. I don't really think about dying is not one topic I want to make, but I'll research it. And then a lot of times, people start attacking you because your information. It's hard to do a video when you got to research it, make sure the data is correct, and then the people just come out bashing you. So it takes time. It's not easy to make videos like that, Daniel. But I will try. Thanks, brother, from Doug. All right. Good AM, Tim. Peanut Butter Travels. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. The gap between rich is wide here. That's why the rich. Thank you, Fortune. Thank you. Right? That's what I just said. I mean, we're talking, like I said, you got people living in mansions, like 10 bedrooms mansions, and you got people living in a nipa hut. Not far from the house. Sometimes here in the province, you could be side by side. You could have like a big estate that you fence. And then your next door neighbor is living in a kubo. That dynamic exists here. Fortune, good PBT. Everyone, you can get 6-month prescription from TRICARE Pharmacy. They only give 3 months. One day they give. All right, thank you for that information, Derek. I know people are curious about that, about medication, how much medication they can bring here. And I was going to say that if you have prescription, it is okay to bring prescription medicine here. As long as it's in a bottle with prescription, your name on it, and you can show in the past, hey, these are my medicine. That's not an issue here. You're not going to get stuck at customs or anything like that. As long as it's prescription medicine prescribed to you, you can bring medications here. I've heard people bring medications up to a year medications. I've heard people do that. Yeah, as a U.S. citizen, who does in the PI, would the U.S. Embassy get involved? Very limited. That's why I don't want to I don't want to discuss the death thing until I research it really well. Because do not expect the U.S. Embassy to do much for American citizens here when they pass away here. Because, there's so many Americans here. They're not staffed for things like that. Especially if you want to bring the remains back to the U.S. and all that. There's just a lot involved with that, passing away here in the Philippines. And videos have been made about that. Not too long ago, I think Paul in the Philippines did a video about that. And he had a guest even. See, a lot of times I would have to find like a local expert, and it's hard for me to find a local expert here in Kalibo. Ronnie, good morning, new viewer. Oh, thank you so much, a new viewer. All right, Southern Cal. My wife lived in Caloocan. I'll be there in December. I visited. Should I worry? Oh, Caloocan. Well, you shouldn't worry because you have a wife. She's got family there. So even if it's Metro Manila, it's like not the easiest, not the most comfortable city, because it's just so congested. They will protect you. The family's going to protect you. They're going to make sure you don't get in any trouble in that area. It's a lot easier in the province. Like if you're an expat, if you're an American, Canadian, whatever, a lot easier in the province here. Like from JP Kalibo, Edgar, Ruben, when they land here in Kalibo, like Doug, when Doug comes here, first day he comes here, he lands here. I get him in his apartment. He can walk outside this door and start walking, and it's safe. I can't say that for Metro Manila. You got to be careful in Metro Manila. It's just I grew up there. You know, I was born and raised there till I was 12. It's a big city. Big city. You got to be careful with pickpockets, watches, necklace. They'll just grab it and run. You know, that stuff doesn't happen here in Calibo, in the province. Said hi, Camerino. Hello, hello, Jim Millie. When I see mansions, my first two thoughts are, I don't want that electric bill. I don't want to clean any house. Well, here, Jim and Millie, a lot of the rich people here has a lot of servants. If you can afford a mansion here in the Philippines, they're gonna have multiple servants, drivers even, a gardener, you know, because it's not expensive here to hire a domestic helper, driver, and all that. You know, it's like $200, $300 a month. You know, you can find help like that. So if you're having a mansion in the millions, they have money to pay for service. They're not cleaning their house. I know if like Manny Pacquiao is mentioned in Manila, he ain't cleaning his house. The so-called middle class here are the workhorse of the economy, but they are taxed. I know, right? Good point there. Good point there. Fortune, because that's on my reading about the middle class here. That's why they're the ones that are complaining, because they are heavily taxed, the middle class, and they see the same dynamic in the US where they see a lot of people here. It's called the 4 Ps, where it's kind of like welfare in the United States. It's not in the same amount in the US, but again, they see a lot of people just living off the government. But you know, it is what it is. That's a lot of our government here, our Congress here, is the same setup as in the U.S. The Americans set it up. You know, we have a Congress, we have a House of Representatives, we have a Senate. A lot of the way our government works here, the Americans set it up when they were here, when the Philippines was an American territory. But they are taxed and get limited benefits. The poor get government dole-outs. I know, right? And that's the frustration that I see with the middle class here, because there's always this thing here called ayuda. Ayuda here is kind of like a handout from the government, and very popular here. Province, city, it don't matter. And they're just handing out to people. A lot of times, because if it's election season, you kind of thing, and you know, they want to like make sure they got enough votes coming in, you know, once election comes. The ultra rich, just around 1% have, yes, very small amount, but they're like ultra rich. They're kind of like that movie, what is that, Rich Asians or something like that. They're that kind of rich here in the Philippines. Of going around the tax system through layering of their investment, they get unofficial, like some administration of justice. Yeah, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, Fortune. Even the expats kind of benefit from that. You know, as soon as I get through the comments here, I'll start discussing. I want to make sure, you know, I give time to people that are making comments. Not being staff makes sense. Not being staff makes sense. Tap that. Hey, all right, Colonel. Thank you. The weather here, like I said, it feels like about 86 degrees Fahrenheit right now. On the Pag-asa website, there's a low pressure area estimated about 520 kilometers of Batanes, way up there north. But a lot of we're not getting hit direct by like typhoons making landfall in the Philippines, but it's causing the habagat to be stronger this year. That's why a lot of rain is happening I've been watching Westpax. Westpax, he does a lot of good video on the weather. But monsoon rains is the thing. The habagat rains is what's causing all the rains in Luzon, Metro Manila, even here in Visayas and Negros Island, the rest of the country. So isolated rain though. It's like even here in Aklan province, one area is raining, one area is not raining. And that's happening all over, except I think in Luzon. Happening, they're just getting so much rain. This Fortune was telling me past week and a half, 2 weeks, it's been raining nonstop in this area. Provinces are safe, cheaper, simple life, just a place with better healthcare if you are in need. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Fortune. And that's my thinking too, Fortune. Is if for retirement, to me, retirement, you wanna breathe fresh air. You want like not crowded areas. You want to be able to take walks outside, you know. And it's hard to do that in Metro Manila just because of the noise, the congestion, the traffic, the air quality is not the best in Metro Manila. Ronnie, thanks. Watching from Baclayon. Oh, right, Hey, man, I've been there. That's the church, right? That's the church. Dazzle and I went there in 2022. Did the whole tour in Bohol, island hopping, Balakasag. I think Balakasag Island, all dolphin watching. We did all that. It's on our videos. We have a Bohol playlist. Love Bohol, man. If I had to pick, like, if I was going to retire again to the Philippines, if I didn't pick Boracay Island, I would have gone to Bohol. That would have been the place. That would be my number two. Number two would have been Bohol. That's why the middle class study hard and get very good education to improve their lives. Now it's a big issue in UP. The poor kids are calling some kids burgis and said that they should go to Ateneo because they can afford, right? They can afford the the University of the Philippines in what Fortune is that is kind of like our Harvard here in the Philippines, and it's government funded. The smartest of the smart go, you got to be like in the top education wise to get into UP and Diliman, and it's always been a path to like less income people, lower income people to go to that university. But and now, from what Fortune is saying, a lot of them are complaining because there are rich people. There are a lot of rich people in all over the Philippines that nice. Baklo yun. Isn't fiesta there now? Daniel, all right. Balikasag Island. Yeah, I remember Balikasag. I did that island, man. My friend and I, and Dazzle, we walked all around the island. From one side, we made a circle, on that island. Not very big island, but it was a lot of fun. All right, the dollar to Philippine peso, all-time high. All-time high. I was just talking about it months ago, and I had a feeling it would climb to 62. It's never been above 62 ever in the history of the Philippines. Currently 62.23 and climbing, it looks like, and climbing. The exchange rate hit here. All right. Oh, Monday, I was going to mention this. I want to make sure I mention this. Monday is a holiday here in the Philippines, National Heroes Day in the Philippines. Nationwide holiday. Liana doesn't have school. It honors the bravery and sacrifice of Filipinos that fought in different wars here in the Philippines. Yes, congrats, you guys. USD, PHE, breach 62. Yes, I don't know about congrats. I don't look at it as, I feel like, I don't want that to hurt the Philippine economy. But I've talked to you about it before. And Fortune is an executive banker with RCBC. He's not just your local manager in the bank. He's an executive. He's a banker. And we have discussed it before privately. And he's told me that, the Philippine Banco Central of the Philippines, they have measures to fight off, if the peso depreciates too much. But me and him were talking about it a while back, and he said he doesn't see Banco Central taking action. And I haven't seen anything from the Banco Central to take any action as far as doing something to prop up the Philippine peso. Castaway Drift 62.27. I know. It's like All right, I'll get to my topic now. I hit everybody's comments. I'm caught up with my comments. Uh, People with money are treated better here in the Philippines. You can say, like I said, you can say that in the United States that happens also, right, with celebrities, but more so here in the Philippines. I've lived half my life in the U.S., half my life in America, and I've just seen the difference how people with money here and gets treated. And it's not even people with a lot of money. It's not even that. It's, to me, it's even like middle class people here in the Philippines, or even like expats like me that is collecting a million. I'm not rich. I'm not rich by any chance. I'm living off my military pension, but I know, like, being here, I'm treated better than the local Filipinos here in the province, especially. The gap between having money and having no money here in the province is bigger than in the cities. Here in the province, a lot of your farmers, a lot of your fishermen here, or construction workers, they really live day to day. We're talking they earn salary for today to feed their family for today. It's hard living for many Filipinos. Like for me, when I go to a hotel, when I go to I don't know how they can tell, but if I go to a hotel, fast food, at the mall, immediately they're calling me, oh, sir. They're really polite. I know they act a little different, when I go to establishments. When Dazzle's with me, she'll get called ma'am, sir, ma'am. But when Dazzle's by herself, sometimes Dazzle will tell me they don't call me ma'am. They call her ma'am more when I'm with her, Expats, I know a lot of expats here in the Philippines complain. I hear it all the time. Skin tax, it exists here. There is skin tax. Expats, foreigners get charged more here. But also, you get treated better here. You're not confronted by a lot of people here in the service industry or even like government agencies. A lot of times they're afraid to like question a foreigner. They're afraid to like, because of one, the English. It's like a lot of Filipinos will go, man, I don't want to get a nosebleed. I'm not going to understand what the foreigner is saying. But a lot of times they are careful with foreigners here. With Kano here in the Philippines, because they know Americans, they know the Kano will say his mind. Us Filipinos, like even me, I'm half and half, half American, half Filipino, but I don't get aggressive with people. I'm always polite. I understand their situation. So, even if they're struggling to get the information to me or don't know the answer, I'm always polite. I say, okay, no worry. I'll speak in Tagalog. That way they feel more comfortable. A lot of times it's not like that with the Kano, with the AFAMs here. Unfortunately, a lot of times, let's say an AFAM goes to a hotel, checking into a hotel, and there's an issue with the check-in. They made the reservation and there's some kind of room's not ready or whatever. The AFAM will automatically say, oh, what's going on here? What's the problem? Gets aggressive. And that's why a lot of your hospitality, because I see it in Boracay all the time, a lot of your hospitality, they're afraid of that. That's why even before the foreigners visit Boracay, those hotel staff, they know the AFAMs that are coming. They're looking at the reservations and they're making sure, man. Because Dazzle's younger brother works at the Mandarin Bay in Boracay. They make sure that they're not gonna goof up, because if there's something wrong, if that foreigner checks into the hotel and there's something wrong with the room, with the reservation, they're gonna make a scene. And Filipinos, they're not confrontational. Most Filipinos that you will meet here, they're not confrontational at all, especially at their work. That's why a lot of times they get put in a spot here, because a lot of your hotels, restaurants, the manager, whoever's in charge, makes all these rules for them that, they scare their employees to say, this is how I want it. If if you don't do this, you're fired. That's why a lot of times at the hotels when you're checking in, they don't want to, like, even though in their mind there's probably, oh, this is probably the right way, and the foreigner is like telling him, why is it, do it this way? They don't want to do it because they don't want to get fired on their job. That's why they're extra careful when it comes to the foreigners here. BSP is saving their gross international reserves and not, that, I learned that from Fortune. Like I said, executive banker there, Fortune, he knows what he's talking about. That's why when I saw the peso climbing, I knew they were gonna do anything to, like, defend the Philippine peso. At this rate, soon I'll be a millionaire in the Philippines. You probably are a millionaire here already in the Philippines, Daniel, because a million now keeps dropping in price. A million pesos used to be like $18,000. It went down to like $17,000. It may be like below $17,000 now. So if you got $17,000 in the bank, you're a millionaire in the Philippines then, in pesos anyway. Good time to transfer some funds if you have upcoming major purchase. For sure, Tim. Yes, Daniel, respect begets respect. Amen. Yeah, amen. And then what you'll notice here in the province, I see it all the time. And that's why when I'm around people here, I treat everybody the same. It doesn't matter if I can tell they're not well off. You can tell by the way they dress. I always like treat them the same, treat everybody the same, because a lot of times the Filipinos too, the local Filipinos, they get, there's some, I won't say all, they also get defensive. Either some of them will be afraid, it's like, I'll give you an example. Like, I drive my car to Calibo, I'm not afraid of the tricycles, how crazy they drive. I'm not afraid of them like banging into my car, because believe me, they avoid your vehicles, cars on the road. These tricycles, they would avoid it. Any kind of accident with the vehicle, for one, they don't have the money to cover. Like, they might have liability insurance, maybe 100,000 pesos, not much, if they have insurance. So a lot of times you'll see the tricycle drivers, they'll move out, when I'm driving. And when I get to an intersection, they're not trying to beat me to an intersection, because again, they do not want to get in an accident with you, because they know, a lot of times those tricycle drivers here, public transportation, they don't even own the tricycle. They're renting it from the owner. It's called a boundary here, like 300 pesos a day. They'll drive the tricycle to earn money. So they got to earn that 300 pesos, pay for the gasoline and everything to the owner of the tricycle. Said hi, like, be careful of the rain today. For sure, be careful. Yeah, right there, Fortune says $16,000 now is 1 million pesos. So it's dropping. I can remember when 1 million pesos was like $18,000. So it keeps dropping. It keeps. So you're already a millionaire, Daniel. One of the things here in the Philippines that I wanted to discuss, and this is another thing that I would say the people with money are treated better here. Because here in the Philippines, there's a thing here called arreglo. Arreglo here in the Philippines. Arreglo is when you make, you discuss with the person. Let's say you get in a car accident. Or sometimes, unfortunately, it happens, you could have been drunk, you could have been, speeding. You cause an accident and you cause injury to like people or multiple people. As a foreigner, that happens here. That happens here a lot. Here in the Philippines, you go to the police station. The first thing the police is gonna do is like they're gonna try to whoever got damaged and whoever is the one that caused the damage. They want them to talk to each other. It's like as long as you're a foreigner, a lot of times the arreglo, what happens is they're gonna put, the cops even will push it. Well, you guys discuss what's a good arrangement. Like, let's say you injured somebody in your car, a car accident. As long as you're willing to pay for like hospitalization, you say, hey, I'll pay for all the hospital costs, and then maybe agree and well, for your pain and suffering, I'll give you an extra $1,000. You know, you can get you can get unscathed. You can go, nothing gets on your driving record, nothing gets registered, as long as you do the arreglo. Happens all the time here, happens all the time. And again, that usually happens because the cops, they can tell that you have money, you have a means to like arrange that agreement with the party that got damages, Arreglo is settlement. Thank you. I was trying to find a word. Oh, thank you, Fortune. I appreciate that, my brother. My mind doesn't, not a quick thinker anymore, man. Not a quick thinker anymore. Great time to buy a bike or a car. Definitely. And of course, a lot of times here in the Philippines, you know, most Filipinos, when they see an AFAM here, when they see a foreigner, it could be Chinese, Korean, or white person, black person, Hispanic person, they're already assumed that you have money, you know, because they know a lot of times you can't come here to the Philippines if you at least didn't have your ticket, you know, or money in your pocket. You know, I do know there's people that come here in the Philippines not bringing any money, but for the local Filipinos here, especially here in the province, they were already assumed that when they see a kano here in the province, that kano has money, you know. That's why they act. They are very careful. They are very careful here. The locals here, they not want to get in a confrontation with the kano here because they're afraid. The whole thing, they're afraid of the money. You know, here in the Philippines, like I said, the gap between the poor and the rich, you know, it's just so big that a lot of times not all, there's Filipinos that think different, but most Filipinos, you know, especially if you're not well off here, they're afraid to get into any kind of confrontation with somebody that was well off because they know that money can be used here as power, you know. But you can say that with anywhere though, right? You can say that people always use money as power, especially if it's one of the things here that people are really careful dealing with when somebody's well dressed, like let's say you're an expat, you're wearing a suit, tie and a suit, or you're a Filipino wearing a barong, you know, like a barong is like our formal long sleeve, and driving a SUV, an expensive vehicle. Man, you're gonna be treated like a VIP here, you know, because they're gonna look at it as this person must be political. This must be a big shot here in the Philippines. So automatically, you will get treated better than the rest of the Filipinos here, the rest of the locals here, because they do not want to like. One thing you got to be careful here in the Philippines. The politicians here, even here in the province, the governor, the different mayors. They roll around here with bodyguards. Same thing. They'll be, you know, the mayor might be all casual dressed. You know, the mayor might be all casual dressed, but he'll have 2, 3, or 4 people around him wearing the barong with the sunglasses, kind of like look like Secret Service. You know, you do not want to do. You know, you better be polite around those people because they do not mess around here. Anything political here, you do not want to get into any argument. I know that probably goes against, you know, like some of the belief, you know, like when foreigners come here that, you know, that everybody's equal, everybody's treated the same. Not in the Philippines. When they have that big SUV, black, a lot of times black SUVs, sometimes they even have the license plate that has governor, mayor, congressman, or senator. They are treated here with a lot of respect. Yeah, you do not want to mess. You do not want to cause any. And then a lot of times, even if they don't have bodyguards, they're thinking if somebody comes out of a big SUV here, black big SUV by himself, People here think he must be a lawyer. He's got money. He must be a lawyer here. Speaking of barong, when I attended Maggie's high school, I wore a barong and other dads wore colored shirts. When the Taguig counselors came, they congratulated me one by one. I know, right? It's the way you dress. It's the way, it's even with the foreigners that are here, the Kano that are here. If you're in Metro Manila and they're wearing a full suit with tie, people are like, they'll start acting different around them because like, oh, he might be the ambassador, must be a staff from the U.S. Embassy. Maybe they thought, right there, Fortune. Maybe they thought, politician, man, politicians here, even to like I said, even like the mayors of, they're always addressed here in the Philippines as honorable. You know, it could be like a small town here in Aklan, maybe in Libacao up in the mountains that people don't really go there, but when he's the mayor, man, you better give him respect. You do not want to like not give them respect because they have a lot of power. You know, the politicians here in the Philippines, more than celebrities, politicians here have a lot of power. Honorable, even, yeah, right. Fortune says honorable, even. Hey, man, hey, you know, if I meet some, hey, sir, I'll be like, sir, honorable. You know, it's like, you know, I do not want to cause any international or, you know, I pay my respect. I pay my respect to them. Like I said, a lot of times, like the people that are not well off, low income, you know, lower income people here, I even hear it when I'm in like the public market or you know, you hear this word, uy, mayaman, mayaman. Mayaman here for the locals, mayaman means that person's rich or that person has money or comes from money. They are careful when they're dealing with people that are rich here. And like I said, the rich here, here in the province, the thinking here, it's not even like mansion rich, Manny Pacquiao rich. Here in the province, if you have a car in Aklan province, people view you as rich because majority of the people here in the province don't have a vehicle. Especially if you have a newer vehicle, you know, a truck, you know, like a 2 million peso truck, 3 million peso truck, you know, in the $40,000 range. You're gonna be treated different here. You know, it's like the locals. You know, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And then some, you know, with that, you know, the poor people here. A lot of times they think that there are less, which they shouldn't, right? Everybody should be equal, but a lot of times they think, oh, mahirap. We're poor, mahirap lang kami. So they kind of like bow down to the people that have money. Unlike in the U.S., right? In the U.S., you know, nobody's gonna back down. I don't care in the U.S. if you're on welfare, you know, you're gonna speak your mind. Yeah, different dynamic here in the Philippines. A lot of times, the people on welfare, they're really soft-spoken. They're not gonna voice out their opinion. Not like again, you know, money here in the Philippines. What was that statement that got the fortune tape? He who has the gold make the rules. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. You could be just middle class here, and you're gonna be treated different here, better than the people like, you know. Dazzle even noticed that because we have traveled before, you know, and most of the time when Dazzle I travel, I'm just wearing like board shorts, I'm on flip-flops getting on the plane. You know, I don't change the way I dress because I'm getting on the plane. But the one time we traveled to Singapore, we dressed up a little because, you know, it's international. You don't, you know, because there's a thing here in the Philippines, because Dazzle's a Filipino citizen, she's not American citizen. If you're going abroad and you're trying to get to Singapore, there's this thing called like offload. I've never heard about it till Dazzle and I were traveling, and I started Googling it and researching on YouTube. they can actually offload you in the plane even if you have a ticket. If they feel like there's a reason why you shouldn't get on the plane. And they don't even have to give you a reason. So Dazzle was really concerned about that. I remember when we were going to Singapore, she's like, I hope I don't get offload. And I'm looking at her like, what is offload? I'm like, well, you got your passport. I got my passport. It's like, but that happens here. That they, at the airport when we went to Calibo, we actually saw a lady that got offloaded. She was scheduled to be on the flight with us, and I don't know what the story is, but she didn't get on the plane with us because she was in line with all of us. They took her to the side, and then I guess they checked her documents and they offloaded her, And again, they don't have to tell you the reason if they offload you here in the Philippines. So that's why, when we were leaving, Dazzle was like, dressed really nice, she dressed really nice, like business-like attire, and me, I wore pants, and I wore shoes, I wore like my khaki pants, and I wore some tennis shoes and a collared shirt because Dazzle was telling me we don't want to look like, I guess we don't want to look like we can't afford to get on the plane, unlike like Americans, right? When I travel, you guys know, when you travel in America, man, there's no dress code. There's no dress code. But here, that exists. That exists here in the Philippines. A lot of times, that's why when we're shopping, like in Iloilo, I see this more in Iloilo City. When we're shopping at SM City Iloilo, you see people there, you can tell they have money because like, they're just going to the mall, right? They're going to the mall to shop, but they're decked out. They got jewelry on them. Because again, when people, like the people in the stores, when they see somebody like a male, female, it doesn't matter, well-dressed and got jewelry and they go in there, they just start acting different. They just start acting different here. About 10 years ago, I saw a Pinoy house in Orlando was selling for 25 million US for sure. Oh yeah, many. I mean, we got billionaires now here. We're talking billionaires in dollars. They're not billionaires in pesos. They're billionaires in dollars here. We got them here, man. Crazy Rich Asians. Crazy. They should make a Crazy Rich Asians Filipino edition, man. He who paid the cost is the boss. Oh, that's another saying. That's another saying. They can offload you if they think drug mule going TNT. All right, TNT, for people that don't know, TNT is like the term for you're going on a tourist visa to Singapore and you don't come back. You end up working in Singapore illegally working. That's why the TNT. Immigration officials can be judgmental. I know, right? Fortune, I seen videos, it's like, and like I said, from the videos that I see, and even that lady that got offloaded when we were getting, they don't have to tell you the reason why, that won't happen in America, because in America, you'll be like, they'll be afraid of like a big lawsuit, discrimination lawsuit, In the Philippines, if they offload you, even though you got a ticket, you got your passport, they offload you, there's not much you can do. You can complain to Rafi Tulfo. You can complain to Rafi Tulfo. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And right, Daniel, many Pinoys did well. A lot of rich Filipinos, man. I got relatives, man, in Houston, man, that are like, that got rich in Houston, man. Especially the professionals like practicing doctors or lawyers there. Yep. Iloilo City is full, old money, right? They call it old money. The sugar barons, the sugar barons of Iloilo. And then the money got handed down to like the next generation. Always appreciative and thankful of your morning vibe, Gina. Perfect. Oh, thank you so much for the kind words, my brother. Nothing but positive energy. Yeah, and like again, I'm not trying to be like a know-it-all. This is just my point of view. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not gonna get offended, but these are just my observations. I just know that. When people are better dressed, anywhere I've been here in the Philippines, province, Manila, airport, hotels, Boracay, it doesn't matter. when you're well dressed, you look like you got money, you get treated better. You know, if you look like a bum, if you look like you're homeless, you might not get the same service. You might not get the same service. Like if you look like me, man, I'm always like wearing a t-shirt and board shorts and flip-flops, Cheer Force. All right, all right. Yeah, that's what they call us. That's what they call us in the Air Force. Morning, folks. Hey, Joe Cano. All right, thank you for making it live. I know you're busy, Joe Cano. Don't worry about joining the live streams and stuff. Joe Cano is on the home stretch, is what I call it. He's headed here to Calibo. I'm gonna be Joe Cano's sponsor when he gets here. I'm gonna pick him up at the airport like I always do, get him settled in an apartment here, take care of all these things here, visa, banking, and all that when Joe Cano arrives here. So he's on the home stretch. Hopefully he'll be here next month. He already got his ticket. So all signals are go for Joe Cano. They also can offload Filipinas if they feel they might be. Yes, right? That's another thing. But see, how would you know that, right? That's why human trafficking, right? Thank you for mentioning that, Joe. I know you've been watching videos. That's another reason that they can offload the Filipina. That's why Dazzle was really concerned, because I never even heard of offloading till I bought the tickets already. Dazzle's got a passport. I got my passport, and she's like, I hope they don't offload me. I'm like, why would they offload you? We're just going there on vacation. But it's a real concern for Filipinos, Filipinas especially, because again, human trafficking is another thing. Yes, Joe, like human smuggling. Morning, Joe. God, thank you for pointing that out, Joe Cano. Morning, Joe. God bless. That's why that's part of you want to, if you're a Filipina, that's why Dazzle, when we were flying to Singapore, she dressed business-like. Yeah, she was all official, it's like, because you don't want to be, dressed like, that you might, work at the clubs or something like that when you get to Singapore, Lowell. Morning, Joe. God bless. Made to work illegally abroad by a recruiter. Happens all the time, right? Unfortunately, many people take advantage of Filipinos, unfortunately. Get recruited. They go to the country. Doesn't matter what country they go. The recruiter holds on to their passport and then scares them to do whatever. Like, again, human smuggling, human trafficking. Morning, Lowell. God bless you. Did the surgery go well? He said he's having a little pain, but it's over. So prayers go out to speedy recovery. Speedy recovery for Lowell for sure. Special thanks, Joe, for the gift. I know, right? That was awesome, man. That was awesome. Nice gift from Joe Cano. Countdown begins. I know countdown begins. Morning, Joe Cano. Smart. Good morning, Gino Dazzle. First call. All right. Thank you there. Dave, right? Dave. I try to remember the names now, but apologize if sometimes I mess up on the names, man. I try to remember everybody's name. It's important to me that I make a connection. You're not just like a viewer to me. I want people on the channel. That's why I think we have a good vibe, because I want us to be friends. I want you guys, when you come to Calibo, you're comfortable to meet me, or you go to Boracay. Hey, I'm gonna meet Gino. It's like that's the vibe that I want, man. Lowell, Joe, yes, I get the temp wires out on Tuesday afternoon. Mid-back bruise and sore. Yeah, just get plenty of rest there, Lowell. In other words, dress for success, right? There you go. Dress for success. Hi, Michael, the Duma Dude. Joe, if you hope to get a free upgrade, you want to be well-dressed. But, right? It's like, that makes sense, right? Like, they're not gonna free upgrade you if you're looking like you're like homeless. If you're like not dressed for success, like that Daniel's saying. Duma Dude, huh? Kind of cool actually. Thanks, Joe Cano. Hey, there's James and Karen. Hey, James. Good morning. Good AM, James and Karen. Hi, James from Jukanu. Young Fresh, all right, Young Fresh, the New Yorker in Iloilo City right now. I'm glad you talked about the offloading thing. I am considering take my girl to Hong Kong, to Disney or Thailand, and she just got her passport back in May, so we'll try. Did Dazzle? Um, Actually, you know what, Young Fresh? I think it helped because we're together, of course, we're traveling together. And then when they saw that we were husband and wife and I had my American passport, I think that helped. They did ask her a question. I don't remember. It was like maybe one question or two questions. I can't. I'll have to ask Dazzle. But they just check our documents, and I think they did ask, "Are you guys married?" And I said, "Yeah, that's my wife." I spoke mostly. But you can see, right, Young Fresh, like what Joe Cano is saying, because there is, unfortunately, human trafficking, human smuggling happening. So that's what the job is of Bureau of Immigration in the Philippines. What would be nice to know more about that experience. All right, I'll talk to Dazzle. I'll talk to Dazzle, Young Fresh, and we'll try to come up. We'll try to come up with a video or maybe a discussion regarding that. But that's a real concern. I know Filipinas, that's a real concern for them when they're, especially if they're traveling for the first time. That was Dazzle's first time leaving the country. So, but once you do it once or twice, they look at your passport that you're traveling, you're vacationing abroad. It's no longer an issue. But the first, especially if it's a brand new passport with no stamps, uh, they'll scrutinize it for sure more, and they'll just ask like questions. What most of the I watch the videos, and the things that they ask is, what are your plans in Singapore or in Hong Kong? And if you're there to say, we're just going to Disneyland, here's our rest, the story has to make sense. Here we're going, this is our hotel reservations, we're going to plan Disneyland. I'm sure the immigration people, they've seen enough. They've seen enough of the human trafficking, human smuggling happening that they know what to look for sure. Good AM. I was Air Force hair high. All right, and tight. One thing I noticed when I visited the village, the guards salute me, and retired Philippine. Oh, wow, nice. I don't think I've ever, maybe my security guards salute me sometimes. I told them, yeah, you got to do that, man. But the security guards here at my, I don't know if they're trying to be funny, but one time they did do that. I said, oh, you got to do it, but because they know with our haircut, right? They know we're military, it's like, I just like keeping my high and tight because it's easier for me. I don't got to groom anything, man. I shampoo my hair. I don't even put gel. I don't put nothing, man. I just like, clean my hair, towel, and I'm done, man. Low maintenance. That's why I like to keep my high and tight haircut. Fly out of Iloilo, no problem there. If you fly out of Manila, yeah, right. Okay, thank you for that, Fortune. And there are direct flights from Iloilo, Young Fresh. Direct flights to Thailand. Try to do the direct flights. Don't go through have to go through Manila. Manila is kind of notorious for craziness that happens at the airport. That's where that infamous now, that thing, Laglag Bala, Laglag Bala here was like, that was a scam they were running in the airports where they will put a bullet in your luggage, and cause trouble. You're like smuggling a bullet. So that's why people now, they wrap their baggage in saran wrap plastic, because of that. You hear a lot of that stuff happening, unfortunately, in the Manila airport. You don't hear it like, I've never heard of anything like that in Iloilo airport. Thanks again, Jukano. I know the birthday gift. I saw it, man. I saw it. Gonna come in handy for James and Karen because they like to go up in the mountain, where Nanay and Tatay live. So they'll have two places for the baby to lay down, two cribs. Yes, Ronnie, you will get the respect here. Right? Get the respect here. Yeah, right, Fortune. I do know that. I have noticed that, Fortune, where when people find out that I'm ex-military, even U.S. military, I'm retired, I do get a certain respect. You know, they respect the military here in the Philippines. No problem, James. Just trying to help out with how busy you guys are. All the construction you're doing. The better half worked here in Dubai at a French school for 17 years. All right. Always a hassle. Back and forth for vacay. As long as paperwork is okay. No. Yeah, right? As long as like your story makes sense, right? If you're getting checked at the Bureau of Immigration, if you're a couple like me and Dazzle were married, I carried a copy of our marriage certificate. If that got questioned, I'll show them that we're married here in the Philippines. So, you know, just as long as your documents are good, again, if a single Filipina is going like to Singapore on a tour by herself, kind of suspicious, because it's like, might be a candidate for what Fortune is saying, TNT. Might be a person that will like get a job, because that's another thing they're afraid. It's like the Filipina will land in Singapore and disappear in the crowd and start working in Singapore as a TNT. FYI, Master Fortune, I did get an actual tuition update for Silliman University. We are definitely more accurate in our guesstimate. LOL. LOL. All right. JP Calibo. All right, JP Calibo. Good morning. Hey, JP Calibo, man. Dazzle and I went back to the ube place, the purple yam, man. That is like JP Calibo had turned Dazzle and I to this. It's a purple yam. It's like a ube. Ube is like that purple sweet potato with the cake. They sell it in a tub, 75 pesos. Man, that is like the best thing I've ever eaten that has ube. And I'm not even a ube fan. It's like we went back, JP, and got more of that ube cake. Yep, Mike. What Hunt Bar said is U.S. standard, not Philippines. I know tuition rates here in Metro, and I just scaled down for the provinces. Good job, Fortune. Yeah, you asked the right person, Michael, because Fortune knows all. Fortune helps people. With that, there's an entrance exam to get into a university of the Philippines, not just the Diliman, but there's several university of the Philippines here in the Philippines, and it's a big thing when you can get into any of them, because it's our Harvard. It's the Harvard of the Philippines to get in there. So Fortune does a thing where he helps people. He helps. Future high school students, whatever, trying to get into UP. People before you got a brownout. JP Calibo got a brownout, man. I got, I always hook up our internet to the Blue Yeti so we don't get cut off. Yesterday, no brownout, but we've been having a power outage here almost every day, 2-hour long power outages. But yesterday was the first day we didn't have one, but today, not a big deal for us. It's part of living here, the power outages. At least you know it's a scheduled power outage for JP Calibo. Young Fresh. By the way, you were right about stores not giving you a refund. Here in the PI, I went to Ace Hardware and bought the wrong size batteries and tried to bring it back, and they told me no refund, man. That's why they test everything, man, before you leave. Once you're out the door, there's no returning. They test like a light bulb. If you buy a light bulb, they'll even test it. They'll remove it from the package, screw it in, test it, it works. So if you come home and it doesn't work at home, you bring back the light bulb. It doesn't matter if you just bought it 15 minutes ago. They're not going to take it back. The minute you leave the store, man, no refund. They say some electronics, like a TV or something, has a 7-day thing, but good luck. Good luck returning anything here, man. You got to make sure you test everything electronics before you leave the store here. Just went through Singapore. Oh, immigration. That's right. I saw the video, Colonel, at Changi Airport, Colonel. It was all electronic scanning, no immigration officers the first time. That were just Oh, wow, nice. Man, well, Changi Airport in Singapore, it's like, I think the number one airport in the world. It's like really high tech, really, I mean, they got a freaking waterfall from the sky thing, Colonel, right? They got like a forest looking botanic. I mean, it's just an awesome. You will not find a better airport in the world. I haven't been. I've been to several airports, and Changi Airport in Singapore, it's got to be like the number one airport. I even like it. The they ordered food, right? You order the food on a kiosk, electric kiosk, and this was back in 2018. 8 years ago. You order in a kiosk, and basically the different restaurants, you order it, and you get your number, you put in your table, they serve it to you. They serve it to you. And everything electronic, unlike this kiosk, man. You just basically order your food at the kiosk, sit down in the food court, and the food comes to you. Why can't all food courts do that, man? Many corrupt in Manila airport. Lagbala, right, Fortune? Lagbala. That's like the bullet. They put a bullet in your suitcase. Steal cash in the extra. Yeah, when they x-ray your luggage, they see something in there that they want. That's why if you're coming from the Philippines, if you're coming from Iloilo, try to avoid Manila. Try to there's direct flights. I know Scoot Airlines flies from Iloilo to Singapore direct, and I know they have several flights to Taiwan or Hong Kong or Thailand that is direct also. David's nurse friend was paying 90k pesos a year. Yes, not 100 USD a year. That would be insane here. Oh yeah. That's about right. That's about right for nursing school in a city. Michael. I know it's got to be more. I know the nursing schools. I know got to be more in Manila. Here in Calibo, I already checked it for Leanna. Right now, if Leanna wanted to take nursing school at one of the nursing school in Calibo, it's about about $1,000 tuition a year for tuition. So 4 years of college for Leanna here in Calibo as a nurse is going to run me about $4,000 right now. Leanna's only in the 8th grade, so I got 4 more years. So I'm assuming by that time maybe $5,000, maybe $6,000. GP, JNK, GPAM, Fortune. We appreciate the service for peace by military. For sure, right? Military here in the Philippines have always, not just American military, but the local Filipinos, man. They have high respect for military people here in the Philippines because they know the sacrifice these Philippine military people do. They're not something where you can mess around with. The Philippine military, they don't play around here, man. Jim wants to know if you had heard that they were going to Air Force the naval base. Jim, there will never be an American base again here in the Philippines. Just my opinion. I've been here 15 years, was military, was stationed at Clark. There will never be an American military base again here in the Philippines because of it will take an act of Congress, and Congress divided on the issue. Our Congress is always divided as far as letting that happen. Right now, to me, is the best situation for American military because there is several bases here in the Philippines that it belongs to the Philippines. It's a Philippine base. They allow there's always American troops here in the Philippines. All the services, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they're here in the Philippines. What they do is your Air Force, and temporary duty here. Rotational temporary duty, 6 months to a year rotational duty. But there will never be American military base here in the Philippines with a BX and commissary, right? Because that's my concern too, man. It'd be nice if there was a BX and a commissary here. Medical, if there was a hospital here, you had, back in the day when I was stationed at Clark. That will never happen again because just the history, I understand the Philippine history. The Philippine government will not allow that because the Philippines, it's a big thing here in the Philippines where they want that nationalism, because once you start open an American base here in the Philippines, it becomes like on some people's mind that during the American bases era here, that the Philippines was a puppet government of the United States. And that's not going to be allowed ever. Not in my lifetime. I know it's not going to happen. Just my opinion now. Just my opinion. I'm not trying to be political, but I just know that American bases in the Philippines, that's not going to happen. Now, Subic, where the Subic Naval Base, there are structures there that the United States are using. They're building like an armament, bullets, things like that. That houses like American companies, even military. They're using all kinds of Philippine bases here, storing like missiles, ammo, plane parts, all that. That's happening, but it's never going to be an American base like it used to be. I saw two Chinese guys in front of it. They pulled out cigarettes and started smoking. I know, right? But they didn't realize how. Oh yeah. No smoking. Iloilo don't play, man. So you came up to them real quick. They will give the ticket. Boracay, you can't smoke in Boracay. There's on White Beach, Boracay, 4 kilometers long of White Beach. You cannot smoke on the beach there. There are designated smoking area in like D Mall is one of them. But if you're a smoker, man, the Philippines is really anti-smoking. We have towns here in Aklan, like I know Ibahay, smoke-free Ibahay. They put a billboard, smoke-free Ibahay. Anytime public area, you can't smoke in certain areas here. Free tuition, yeah. UP, man, that's why people want to get in UP, man, because it's a free tuition. The government pays for it. But not easy, not easy to get into UP. Thanks for the advice. We will fly out of Iloilo. That bullet thing will scare the hell. I know, right? Young man, if you're worried about that, Young Fresh, you're not gonna be alone if you like saran wrap your luggage. Trust me, when you go to the airport, you're gonna wonder like, how come they're wrapped in saran wrap? How come people's luggage is wrapped in saran wrap? That's the reason for it. That way, nobody can put something inside your luggage. Lots of people want to enter and serve in the military here. If they can get into the PMA, Pattern of West Point, that's free tuition, guaranteed work. Oh yeah, and it's not just our Philippine Military Academy here. It's in Baguio City. I actually, as a little kid growing up here, that was my dream. I wanted to become a PM, join the Philippine Military Academy. Man, that is a big thing here in the Philippines. If you're a PMA graduate here in the Philippines, you're gonna be somebody. You're gonna be a politician. You're gonna be like a government, somebody big in government. You're gonna be the best of the best. Go to the Philippine Military Academy. Not just guaranteed work, right, Fortune? If you're like, they rank you, like the students that go to the PMA, if you're like in the top 50, you're going to be recruited by like people in government here that they want you. You're going to be a big thing in the Philippines if you're a PMA graduate. JP Calibo, if I go to White Beach, Boracay, my white your white legs were smoked. That's funny. That was a big transition for me after retiring in Germany. PX and commissary access, but with paying German tax. Healthcare, nope. TRICARE, yes. Once adjusted, no issue after. Yeah. For me, it was unfortunate, when I retired, the bases here were long gone. It would have been nice, it would have been nice if Clark Air Base was still open and I retired here. Would have made my life so much easier, because they would have a military hospital. But it is what it is. I'm happy with TRICARE, man. I'm happy that I have some type of medical insurance here in the Philippines. Going back to my topic, like one other thing that a lot of foreigners, a lot of foreigners that are here. When you're going to the mall here in the Philippines, a lot of times the women and the men get separated at the entrance of the mall. You got to go through a security guard. I've noticed now that there's a female security guard now and a male security guard, and some of them even will wand you. But you know what? I've been here all this time. I never see a foreigner getting wanded or getting set aside. It's usually the Filipino because, again, it's like even the security guards, they are careful, because they know if they decide to like single out a foreigner, to make them stand and then wand them, that it might be an issue to the foreigner, they know that. They know that, security guards, they're not dumb. They don't want, and for me, to me, it's unnecessary. I don't understand why they do that at the mall. Again, probably from orders of the mall that, the screen people for weapons, but even at checkpoints here. If you go to a check, I've gone through like in my driving career here in the Philippines. I've been driving since 12 years now that I've been driving here. I can't not remember the time I've ever been pulled over at the checkpoint and checked for my documents. Because if you're driving a car, if you're driving an SUV, if you're driving an expensive car, it doesn't matter if you're Filipino, it doesn't matter if you're a foreigner, you're a Kano. Chances are they're not gonna stop you and ask for your documents, because what they're targeting here in the province anyway, in Aklan, what they're targeting is the motorbikes. And a lot of times they know, like the foreigners here that are, their motorbikes are a lot bigger. A lot of times it's the NMAX, Honda ADV, bigger bikes. They're not gonna pull you over and ask for. They're trying to get the Filipinos, the locals that they know, chances are has no license, has no insurance, and registration is expired. So again, it's like, I cannot remember the time I drive a Toyota Wigo. It's a 2019. I have never been pulled. All I do though, when I go to the checkpoint, I already know before I get to the checkpoint, I lower all my windows out of respect for the people that are guarding the checkpoint, the military, sometimes national police, because that is the process. Because a lot of times our vehicles here, they're heavily tinted. Man, I got tint on my windshield. You can do that here. I got tint on my windshield, so you can't look. Now it's kind of faded. You can kind of see me, but when I first had my tint on my windshield, you can see me. So out of respect for them, when I'm driving my car, I see a checkpoint, I lower all my windows, and that's supposed to be the procedure anyway. And then I slow down. I go wave at them, sir. Good afternoon. Good morning, sir. Wave through. Never been pulled, never been stopped, check documents, never that happened to me. Fortune, if you survive, you will be a general, right? Fortune, if you survive the PMA, the Philippine Military Academy in Baguio, and let's say you're in the top 10, top 20 at the PMA, my dogs are funny. They're playing. Oh, Khalil. Just gonna show you guys Khalil real quick. You can see how big Khalil has gotten. Look at Khalil. He's gonna get a haircut this coming week because he needs a haircut. Nagsuka dun man. Si Khalil. May maliit na dun. Mom is there, so mom's gonna get Khalil. Yeah, if you're like in the top 10 PMA graduate, man, like Fortune was saying, guaranteed you're going to be somebody in the Philippines. You're going to be a general. You're going to be a CEO of a corporation here or whatever, man. That's a big deal. Some just get 10, 20 in the Air Force and become PAL pilots. Wow, that happened to me and my girl in SM in Iloilo. They stopped my girl, but they just let me go. They didn't even... Yeah, thank you for saying that, because they're not gonna bother. You're a cano, man. You're an afam. They do not want to get in. That's what I'm saying. You get treated better here as an afam, as a cano. I know. People will say, well, I get the skin tax. They charge me more for everything. But you also, man, the Filipinos, especially like in food service, security guards, you name it, they're afraid to like check you for anything or get into any confrontation with an afam, because they know, man. Americans especially. Americans, why you're doing this to me? It gets loud. It's like next thing you know, they're afraid that they'll lose their job. Over that. The confrontation. So they avoid it. They avoid it. That's why you're just gonna get through, man. Your girlfriend. They're gonna check her bag, put the stick on her bag. What you got there? What you got there? Man, you could be carrying a backpack. They're not. I've gone through them all with a backpack. Because we just checked out of a hotel in Roa City. We're going to the mall. I got a big backpack full of stuff. They don't even check my bag. View for review. Oh, okay. Let me see. There's a view message here for review. They stopped adorable Karen. They stopped adorable Karen. Jim Millie said they stopped. Yeah, that's the thing. Dazzle actually had a really bad experience. We were at Manila Airport, and that's why now every time we travel, I make sure that I'm right beside Dazzle, because it happened to where we went to the security, airport security in Manila, and they separate the men and they separate the women. So, and they made me take my shoes, all that, that routine. So I was on the other side with the men, and Dazzle was with the women. And Dazzle, you had to put her backpack, because we never carry a suitcase when we try. So she put her backpack on the conveyor where they would x-ray it. And then when it came out on the other end, Dazzle was like, she saw, when it comes out the other end, you pick it up, right? Well, this lady, the what are they called, like in the US, the TSA, whatever that check, they're like, you're gonna break our machine, goes like that to Dazzle, you're not supposed, I'm like, because that's the procedure, right? When your stuff comes out the other side. Dazzle was looking at their people, they're picking at their stuff. But again, because Dazzle's, she's small built, and at the time we were just like regular clothes, t-shirt, shorts, again, they will treat you different when you're, the way you dress. If I was beside Dazzle, no way would that lady would have said anything to her. But, that's why, Young Fresh, if you're traveling with your Filipina, watch out for your Filipina, make sure you protect her from abuse. You protect her from abuse, man, from some of these airport people, especially Manila, man. Manila's just like, man, I don't know what it is, but the airport in Manila, it's notorious anyway, right? It's always listed as one of the worst airports in the world, man. Yeah, right. Millie, if they stopped caring, it happened to Dazzle too in Manila, where the lady that was, they wore the airport uniform, they gave her a hard time because she picked up her backpack when it came out of the x-ray machine without being, the lady was saying that you're not supposed to pick up until I tell you you can, kind of. I'm like, okay, but I had to like rush and I say, hey, what's going on? So I got to do that. I'm curious what happens to Filipinos that get pulled over with no license. They go to jail? Nobody really goes to jail. Before the process here, Young Fresh, they take the license. They're not allowed to do that anymore. They're supposed to give you a ticket. They will take your vehicle. If you're on a motorbike and they pull you and you have a violation, land transportation or whatever, they will take your motorbike. You'll be walking. You'll be walking if you have any, and then they'll write you a ticket, and you have to go to the LTO. It's going to be a hefty fine. They're going to fine you for not just not having a license. If you weren't wearing a helmet, if you didn't have insurance, 2,000 here, 3,000 here, 5. Do not be surprised if you have a violation. It ends up costing you like 20,000 pesos. It happens. I have people here, people that we know that were like getting charged 20,000 pesos for violation. That's why a lot of times before the checkpoint, anywhere here in the province, they see a checkpoint about 50 yards away or even closer, all the vehicles are stopped, especially motorbikes. There's going to be like 50 to 100 motorbikes just waiting there. Because as long as you don't cross the checkpoint, they can't come out and get you. So they'll just wait there. They'll wait it out, man. It's the funniest thing, man. You know, the guys that you know, they got no documents on their motorbike, they'll just sit there until the checkpoint is dissolved. Or they'll turn around and find another route. That windshield tint is great in the day, but dry. I know, man. That's why now I'm kind of glad that it's not as dark anymore. When I first tinted it, it was dark on the front. I rarely drive at night, so it works out to my benefit. But now it's faded out. All the tint here, the sun here is so strong that they will fade out any tint that you put. I mean, I had like limo tint, like really dark tint, and now you can see through the car now after a few years. Dangerous, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You know, that's why I try not to drive at night. That's, you know, even now that the tint on the front has disappeared, I still have a hard time driving at night. I try to avoid driving at night as much as I can. Don't try 30 minutes. I got scared. I know, right? Because there's things that you don't see when you're driving here at night. It's good morning, everyone. Good morning, Gino and Dazzle. Sending hugs and support from the Outback. All right. There's I know Thelma and Dean, my brother in the Outback. All right. Thank you so much for being on the channel this morning. Good evening from the U.S. I hope everyone is having a good morning. Yes, good morning here. Cloudy, but the sun is a little bit up. It's not raining. It's not raining. Mom's probably doing laundry outside. That the fine for no license is less than having a signal out last I checked. Yeah, they have different prices. I know that. At one time I looked at the chart. You know, they have that's what I'm saying. If you get pulled over, they're gonna check every single violation and they're gonna charge you every single violation. That's why sometimes, we know a person that his violation on his motorbike reached 20,000 pesos, like $350 for a violation. NV from Vegasville. They wave me through. Don't even look at my... I know, right? Because again, James, that's the thing that, they're afraid too because, with foreigners here, even the police, even the LTO, the checkpoint, they know how foreigners are. They're just trying to do their work, and the easiest as they can. These checkpoints aren't really, they're there to find people with violations, but you can tell it's not that serious. I even see them. I know you watch this, James, where that they're taking selfies. The police, the LTO people, the government, they're taking selfies at their checkpoint because they want to post it on their Facebook that they're in a checkpoint in their uniform. But they always catch people. I mean, they like in Calibo. The one notorious place in Calibo for the checkpoint, you get on the Numancia side and then you come out of the bridge on the Calibo side. That's where they get you because you're trapped. Because when you're on the bridge, it's a one-way bridge. So you can't just pull over on the bridge. So a lot of times that's where the minute they get off the bridge at Numancia and Calibo, that's where the checkpoint is, and they catch a lot of people there. And like I said, for me, I've never gotten my license checked because I'm in a car. There's a difference too, James. If you're riding a car, chances of you getting pulled over are a lot less than a motorcycle because they know a lot of motorcycle riders here don't have the proper documents. LTO will check ORCR. Yes, I carry that. OR is like the receipt of registration, and then your owner, that you have the title on the vehicle. But there haven't been many LTO. lately. For us, James, it's funny. They use the Camellia entrance because it's shaded. There's an area there that's shaded. So the Camellia entrance, almost every afternoon, they use it as a checkpoint here because there's a lot of people that travel on kind of like our little national highway from Lezo to Numancia. So they're catching a lot of people there. Lots of PNP, but they don't focus on us. We always have the helmet. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're wearing helmets, oh, thank you so much, young friend. Let me put a heart on that. Thank you so much. I will be back in November and December, and we'll bring you and Dazzle back. Oh, thank you, thank you. That would be awesome, man. That would be awesome. Thank you so much. Yankees or New York Giants? Yankees, Yankees. I will also be in Long Beach. Oh, wow, Long Beach. Let me know. Oh, that would be awesome, man. If you can get me a Long Beach, California t-shirt, man, I would really appreciate it. I will wear it. I will wear it for sure, man. Thank you, Young Fresh. Appreciate that. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. They ask where I'm from. Smile and yeah, the thing is here, a lot of if you're a foreigner here, it's all about the way you approach people. It's like if you smile at them, you don't look like you're gonna be, they treat you well here. It's the people that you see on YouTube that get in confrontation with the locals here are usually the ones that are causing it. Usually. But if you're polite, the thing to remember: always be humble and polite, humble and kind. Checkpoint permits are location and time specific. That's the reason they leave after and dissolve the checkpoint once. Okay. Thank you, Fortune. I did not know that. I did not know that they have to have a permit. They can check those who 100. Oh, okay, all right. But here I've never seen them. You always see them like the motorbikes, Fortune, where they stop. Good distance from the checkpoint. I've never seen them like where the checkpoint is, come out and get those people. I'm sure if they did start doing that, all those people are going to take off the other way, man. This is the province, and the province people are funny here, man. And then a lot of times here in the province, Fortune, you will even see posts on Facebook. Oh, there's a checkpoint here. Yeah, I can go on Facebook and you can see like the different places where they have checked. People share that information on Facebook here. Vaughn, long live the Panay Posse. Thank you, Vaughn. Appreciate that, Ron. Always wear helmets for safety. That the first thing they see, right? The first thing they see. Yeah, here in the province, I just noticed it. Fortune, it's always the motorbikes that they are targeting. They rarely stop a vehicle here. I've never been stopped. Like I said, as long as I roll the windows down, I go slow to the checkpoint, they're waving me through. I've never had my license checked here. I have it. I always carry all my documents. Good AM, I'm fresh. One thing I like about the Philippines, they don't look at you like you are going to steal something when you walk inside the store. They don't follow you. Oh yeah, they won't do that with you, Young Fresh, because you're in a farm, man. You're an American. Yeah, they know an American is not going to steal anything at the store here. It's like they're going to try to sell you stuff. They're going to try to, oh sir, we got this new iPhone. Because they're looking like that you have money because you're at a farm, man. Hi, Gino from Canada, Toronto. All right, Canada. Solaris, learn from Colas. Try to smile. Yeah, that's the thing. Colas, I met Colas. I have a picture with Colas during Atiatian. That's what it is. If you're kind, you're humble and kind, you approach locals here, you smile, you serve, give them respect. That goes a long way. That goes a long way here. Yes, they aren't allowed to go out of checkpoint areas. They can be sued. Apprehend, will be released by court. Yeah, I've never seen them. Like I said, they'll be at the checkpoint. They're waiting for people at the checkpoint, but I don't never see them. Expat Information Network. Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you, Vaughn. There's Fortune. Vehicle is just plain view check. Motors, they look after. Okay, that's why Fortune mentioned they're looking for riding by tandem. That's a popular way here. A lot of times it's riding by tandem. There's a guy in a motorbike, and the guy behind them, it's like the perpetrator. That's what Fortune, that happens here. Unfortunately, they have that. Mostly political, happens to political people here. Great to see ya, Daniel, right? Solaris, gots to go. All right, no worries, Vaughn, thank you. Thank you for stopping by, Daniel, my brother from a different, all right. Okay, let me look at my notes, make sure I did cover the checkpoints. Oh, another thing here. This happens also, my friend, they're a military couple, retired now in Iloilo City. She's the one that told me this. She and her husband are both Filipino Americans. Both of them are Filipino Americans. But they get treated better as soon as they converse in English. And then a lot of times, people even want to befriend them, because they're speaking English, because they know, oh, they're from abroad, they're from America. Oh, thank you so much, Young Fresh. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. So that's another thing. If you're, as an AFAM, you're here, you're going to be English speaking. So, that automatically upgrades you. That automatic, in the eyes of a lot of the locals here. They're careful because they do not want to get in a confrontation, because again, it might cause a nosebleed. It might cause a nosebleed because they might get challenged in their the way they can answer back in English. Especially like I see this in the fast food places like McDonald's and Jollibee. They see you as a foreigner coming to like McDonald's or Jollibee. You can tell like they're nervous. The people, the customer service. At least now they do have those electronic now where you order yourself. But before, because how Americans are, man. It's like in the Philippines, most Filipinos, when they order like a burger, let's say they order a quarter pounder with cheese. A lot of times they'll just order a quarter pounder with cheese. They're not like Americans be like hold the ketchup, no mustard. Hold. I don't like onions. And they're going like, man, how do I punch this in my machine? How do I punch? Because they're not trained. They're not. Maybe now they're more improved, trained like that, but they're not used to that. Where they're not used to like how when you order your coffee, at Starbucks. Maybe the Starbucks here, because most customers, they know they have to deal with a lot of foreigners. But I want soy milk, half sugar. The long list just to make one cup of coffee. It's like, but at the fast food places, a Jollibee, like if you say, I want the 2-piece chicken, I want no rice. That will confuse them, because they'll be going like, it comes with rice. It's a package. They can't like delete the rice. They sell it as 2-piece. Even if you don't want the rice, you're gonna end up getting the rice and paying for it. If you say I don't want the rice, they won't give you rice, but they will charge you for the rice. It's not, especially for like a value meal or you want to replace. I don't want soda. I want something. That just throws them off a lot of times. 8:40 for grocery. All right. Thank you, Fortune. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother, and appreciate everyone's support as always. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you also, Vaughn, Young Fresh. Do you ever notice there are like 10 times the amount of employees? Oh yeah, malls and stores like Ace Hardware. No, it's not just you. It's the same thing here in Aklan Province. If I go to Wilcon Depot, if I go to Ace Hardware, the reason for that, Young Fresh, when you go to like Ace Hardware or Wilcon Depot, they have a, there's a lot of companies here, like let's say Dutch Boy Paint or something, some paint company. They will have a representative from the paint place to be there working as an employee. So there's a, so if you can imagine, if you're a big warehouse store, there could be like a paint guy. There could be like a bathroom equipment, or they have there's a specific person. A lot of times the companies themselves, they want their own people. They want their own people there. Same thing at the department stores. Yeah, department stores at SM City, Iloilo. You go to like the makeup department, with the lipstick, with the, because Dazzle goes to those places all the time, and there's just a bunch of people there, and they're trying to push their product, the Maybelline product, or whatever product that they're pushing. But they'll be wearing the uniform of the department store or Ace Hardware. Of course, Ace Hardware or Wilcon Depot, they don't mind having those guys because they ain't gotta pay them. The company, whoever sent their representative to sell their stuff, are there. They hire a lot of people. They do. The department stores, hardware stores, a lot of employees. I mean, here at Wilcon Depot, man, when Dazzle and I go to Wilcon Depot here in Makato, the employees outnumber the customers. Every time we go there, you can look, there's only about a dozen customers, including Dazzle and I, including 10 other people, and there'll be like 25 employees, man. They're like, when we're pushing the cart, there'll be like 3-4 people around us, sir, asking us, what are you looking for? Which is good, right? They help you out. They can afford, because they just paid them minimum. Yep, minimum wage. And I think they get a percentage, Fortune, like 1%. They get a percentage of the sale. That's why a lot of them are aggressive. A lot of them, they want that, commission on the sale. Yeah, attention and the help. Gino, you look so good since the time I start. Oh, thank you so much. And I can tell too. I look back to the video, especially when I was going through my cancer treatments, man. I just lost a lot of weight. It's like I got down to like 119 pounds. Now I'm close to 150, and I feel good. I'm walking every day. I do my 5 kilometers every day. I do yoga 3 times a week, so I feel healthy. Praise the Lord. Thank you so much. A blessing, really. That. Stay healthy. Yes, doing all I can to stay healthy. Always getting plenty of rest. Sleep is important to me. These two are running around here playing. Kalel, Toy. Don't bully Kalel, Toy. Toy is like bigger than Kalel, but they're like playing around here inside. But thank you so much, Melinda. They are super helpful. Oh yeah. You won't have a problem if you're at the mall, if you're like a department store, if you're at the hardware store. Man, they'll push your car, they'll carry your stuff to your car, they'll load it in your car. I've never had to carry anything when we go to a hardware store here. If we're buying like big pots or paint, whatever we're buying, I don't, they got employees that will carry it out to your car, and they don't even accept tips because they'll post a thing there. Customer service doesn't accept tip, or no tipping allowed. Very common here. That you go to several business here where the businesses themselves would post no tipping allowed. Even a Toyota dealership, it says there, no tipping allowed. And usually they are just on a 5-month contracts. Yep. Especially now we're getting into the Burr months. The Burr months, September, 1 September next week. The malls, the stores at the malls, they're going to be hiring extra people because this is like Christmas season. So you're going to even have more employees working to help you because this is where they make their money. They make more money September, October, November, December than the rest of the year. This is their big sales and all that will be happening here. They also have work experience for high school students, especially in customer service. Yeah, what that is, Jim and Millie, like a lot of hotels, even in Calibo, in Boracay, there's a program here, TESDA. 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 It's a government program. These high school students, a lot of them can't afford to go to college. So TESDA, free training for them. They even get an allowance. And these TESDA students, they work at the restaurants in Calibo, hotels in Boracay, and they get actual experience to work. And with allowance from the government here got some good programs. I will give them that, man. The Philippines, don't think that you see the corruption, you see that happening in government, but they have a lot of programs here that are helpful too. And that's one of them. Test that. They're training in restaurant, like servicing restaurant, hotels, cleaning the rooms, barista. That's one of them. Drivers even, they'll send people to driving school here, so you can get a job as a driver. And the restaurants, the hotels, they love it because they don't pay them. Like if I go to one of the popular restaurants here in Calibo, is the Backyard. They always got them. They're wearing white T-shirt with a collar shirt. They're always so polite because they're trying to hopefully one day get a job at the Backyard. And there's so many of them. There'll be like a dozen of them when you go there, and it helps service because for the restaurant it's free labor, and for you, very attentive. You just raise your hand, they come to you. They're like, "What can I get you, sir? What can I get you?" And they're not expecting a tip either, man. If I give them like a 50 peso tip at the end of our meal, like the students, man, they're like so happy because they're like, "Man, that's my meal." That pays for my meal for the day, man. Watching from California. Retro, hello. Mocha, hello from California, man. Every time I see California, it reminds me of my days in Southern California because that's where I landed when I moved to the United States. We landed in Southern California. I graduated from Long Beach Woodrow Wilson High in Long Beach, California. I have a viewer, actually, we've been messaging because he went to the same school, then he went to Long Beach State. Me and him have been communicating. He sent me a photo of how our school looks like now, Woodrow Wilson now. I was like, I didn't even recognize it. Anyone have recommendation how I can watch NFL online or any special subscription? It's preseason right now, but would love to watch a game live. Is there any bars here? It goes from like area to area. Iloilo City, I know in Boracay, if you're in Boracay, I know some of the Roombas, I know one of the bar, TGH Sports Bar, but in Iloilo City, I haven't been there. A lot of times, I don't watch the NFL just because a lot of the games come at an odd time here. Maybe 5 a.m., sometimes 2 a.m. or 5 a.m. Baseball is not an issue. There's Spot Now. It's called Spot Now for baseball. So I watch baseball games there. NBA, I have NBA League Pass. I pay like, I think 499 pesos during the season. Right now, I canceled my subscription, but once the season starts, but football is just not popular. Unfortunately, it's not popular. I know if you're in like the Angeles City area, because there's a lot of military expats there, United States military. A lot of them had AFN, the Armed Forces Network, and they're able to show it. Let me check, Young Fresh. I got your contact information in my WhatsApp. I'll research. I'll do a little research and I'll message you where to catch NFL games. I know my friend Ray. My friend Ray. He's I think he's headed back to Boracay. He was in Puerto Galera living. Now he's gonna go back to Boracay to live. I'll message him because he watches. I know he watches American football. I'll get back with you, man. I'll get back with you, Young Fresh. Not everyone will go to college. tradesmen will always, yeah, right? Totoy, don't bother Kalel. Don't bother him. Yeah, even college years, here in the province anyway, a lot of people don't make it to college because a lot, it's not expensive, but a lot of people just can't afford it. That's why the TESDA is a great program by the government because it's a way for them to get hired in Boracay and the service, the hospitality and service industry in Calibo and in Boracay. They get work experience, and then if they perform well, the restaurants hire them. How are you, Mocha? I'm good. Thank you. All right, go Bruins. Hey, my school, Long Beach Wilson High, was Bruins. We were the Bruins. And are you in the Philippines? Yes, I'm in the Philippines. What are today's chores? I don't have much chores around here. Mom takes care of our laundry. Pretty much our chore when Dazzle wakes up, more likely we'll head to the public market. We'll decide on the way there on Bumblebee. We'll decide what are we eating today, and we'll get fresh vegetables, whatever we want to cook today. Because that's the thing here in the Philippines. We don't stock up our fridge with vegetables or seafood because here in the Philippines, you want to buy it fresh. That's a big thing with Filipinos. Different dynamic than in the U.S. where I tried to do, when I was in the U.S., buy so much grocery. That way I don't have to go back to the grocery, hopefully a week, sometimes 2 weeks. Here, we go to the public market 3-4 times a week. You are great at English. Oh, thank you. I do have an accent. People tell me that I have an accent. But I lived in the United States before I moved here 15 years ago, I lived in the U.S. for over 30 years. What was your AFSC? All right. AFSC, for people, that's the Air Force Specialty Code. We have a number for our job in the military, in the United States Air Force. I was first a 906. 906 is medical administrative specialist. So I worked in the hospital, and then they converted the 906 to 4A0. But same job. I was 20 years. I worked in medical administration. Towards the end of my career, I was working in medical readiness. They put me in medical readiness. I guess I was pretty good at it, so they kept me there doing medical readiness. Deploying people, making sure people were ready for deployment, in charge of recalling everybody. It was fun. It was a fun job for me. I enjoyed because when I was medical readiness. It's nice to hear you're doing well, Paul. Okay, thank you so much. Ryan, hey Ryan, long time no see, man. Long time no see. I haven't seen you. How are you? Love Daniel gave me this shirt, man. David, this grunt shirt, man. It's now complete. All right, getting closer. All right, man. I know I've communicated with you before, so if you have any questions, man, I remember you. I remember, man. All right, Julian Millie. Hey, I started the live stream at 7. I'll try to keep it started early. That way, you guys can hang in with the live stream. Love to dazzle the end. All right, I will tell them. I will end the live stream anyway because we're at the 2-hour mark. I always try to keep it. Let me see if I hit all the topics. Let me see. I just want to make sure I think I've talked most about it already. Yeah, the thing here, like especially here in the province, the reason I say people are treated different with money, a lot of your foreigners here, and then OFW, the overseas Filipino workers, they're the ones here with houses, nice size houses, and they ride around in trucks here. Your Ford Ranger, your Toyota Hilux, Nissan Navara. These are 2 million minimum on these pesos, about over $30,000 vehicles. Now Dazzle even saw one, man, a Ford Bronco, a new Ford Bronco. Those things are like 5 million pesos, man. So that's about over $70,000 on these vehicles. So that's the thing here, it's a status. Most people here in the province, when they see that, oh man, that they're rich. They got to be some. They got to be on a farm, or they got to be like an OFW, an overseas Filipino worker, bringing in a lot of money here. All right, that's the last thing. That's again, it becomes like a status. When you're driving around in these big vehicles here, man, people know you got money here. Thank you, thank you. Spur. I usually take 4-hour ride from Lipa, Iloilo for flights to Cebu, out of the country. But I just found out that the airport in your area, which is only an hour and a half. Oh, right, yeah. Calibo. Calibo's got flights too. And then Caticlan too. Caticlan, you're near Caticlan. Any advice for those wanting to make the move over? And also any tips for other veterans? Any advice? I got many advice, man. Many advice. The number one advice I can give you, Ryan, try to find somebody here in the field. It don't have to be me. Whatever area where you're going, if you select your location for your soft landing here in the Philippines, find a sponsor. Find somebody that will help you transition. Because I don't care how much videos you watch, your life is going to be so much easier when you come here and somebody's helping you out. Like I know for Joe Cano, when he comes here, I'm picking him up in the airport. I'm taking him to his apartment. Visa issue, license issue, banking issue. I'll help him through that process. It's difficult when you're trying to do that all by yourself in navigating that. You can avoid a lot of the hassle. Sometimes people, they might say you get scammed, you get the skin tax here. That can be avoided if you find somebody that will help you out. Whatever area you're going, find somebody that will help you in that area. My friend Ruben is an example. He ended up here, he chose me, but before he came here, he had a person in Davao City, Angeles City, Dumaguete City, Iloilo City, vloggers. He contacted bloggers in that area and he said, I need help. If you're following a blogger, ask them for help. See if they're going to help you out, man. Is it reliable to go there and fly to Cebu in November? Fly to Cebu? Yeah, it should be. November always kind of tricky, right? Because October, November, kind of like typhoon season. That's like, that's anytime you're flying. I tell people in the Philippines, if you're going to travel the Philippines, do it like January to June. Anytime from July to December, you can get hit with a typhoon. So your airlines, all that might get affected. It's like they cancel flights here all the time. So that's the only thing I can think about. But if you're flying to Cebu from Caticlan, or if there's a flight in Calibo, very reliable. I know Caticlan to Cebu, I know they get a dozen flights every day. It's like Manila to Caticlan, and then Caticlan to Cebu. They have over 20 flights a day because of Boracay Island. Thank you, agree. Need a sponsor. Yeah, find a sponsor, Ryan. It will make, you will, like I know, like even with JP, with Edgar, with Mel, Ruben, they're constantly checking with me anything that they're doing here in Calibo. Gino, what do you think? Because I can steer them away from I've been here 15 years. I've experienced pretty much anything you can experience in Calibo. I can tell you, avoid that place, don't do that there, do your business here. It's like and that's such a valuable information. Instead of going to a place where you don't know anybody, it's hard. It's hard to do that here in the Philippines. My tito did all that for me. All right, hey, that's good. If you have a sponsor here that's a family member, you got it made, right? You got it made. Somebody that you can trust. It's hard to find that, man. A lot of times when people land there, they think, well, I'm just gonna land in Cebu and figure it out. That might not, you're gonna get stressed if you do that, because First thing that's going to happen to you if you try to do that, they might charge you higher rent. You know, you might not find the best location in Cebu City. You know, there's so many things that can be avoided if you have boots on the ground, somebody where you're going, the location where you're going, there's somebody there that's watching out for you. That's like making sure you don't get scammed, make sure you're gonna move into a nice apartment instead of an apartment that's gonna be sketchy at night, you know, kind of thing. Thanks a lot. You're a true friend. All right, all right. I'm glad to hear. That's all I want, man. I just want to be your friend. I want to be helpful. Nice. Meeting you po. God bless. All right, take care. Take care, everyone. Alin. I was able to file my triker due to your informative video. Oh, man, I'm happy to hear that. Hey, anytime I can help somebody, man, to me, that's what I'm here for. I want to like share the information. If I can help one person every day, I'm a happy man. Happy man. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. I'll keep doing TRICARE videos, man. Just because of that, I'll keep doing those TRICARE videos. My name is Imelda. All right, po. Take care. All right, take care. Take care, everyone. All right, I'm going to end the live stream here. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for being on the live stream this morning. Everyone, stay blessed. Stay blessed.